something that our government is currently working on here in the state of Texas, and something that I believe we should have moving forward. What I'm talking about is gambling in the state of Texas. Currently, we send a lot of money to other states and fund a lot of their programs, and that's money that we need to keep here inside the state instead of funding everybody else's education, healthcare, workforce, all that kind of things. We should spend the money here, not over there. First thing here in the state of Texas, we do have a state deficit. On a chart here, you can see that the current deficit for this year is about $28 billion, and for the years after that, it's an average of $27 billion. That's a lot of money. We need to find ways to make the deficit smaller without increasing sales tax. It doesn't require sales tax. So to do this, we need to find ways to bring more money in through outside sources that aren't taxable. So this is something that we can easily do when it comes to gambling. Every year we send about $2.5 billion to our neighbors in Louisiana, New Mexico, and Oklahoma that we spend over their casinos that they get. Now, if we did that here in Texas, we'd probably get more money than that due to these people that are going now are driving 3-4 hours just to drive there and go gamble and spend their money. If it was 15 minutes from their house, they'd probably go out more and they would spend more money, therefore giving us more taxable income. And that is something we can definitely use here. So yeah, if you go to thankyouTexas.com, they have a lot of information about what you can do, and it shows you some statistics by area of the money you could bring in. Now, as you can see, according to the slide, here's the current budget, and here's the next 2 years that are projected and what they plan to cut from the budget. As you can see, healthcare, transportation, and welfare has been greatly cut, and education as well. It's been greatly cut on there. And those are things that we really need. Education for us and our children's future. We need health care for the seniors and for the infants that can't afford to have it. And it's money that we need. We can't just be taking money away, firing teachers, having to lose doctors. That we need all that here. We can't let that go somewhere else. And having casinos in Texas will also provide another about 75,000 jobs. And if you look at the unemployment rate here, you can see it's hovering right between 9 and 10%. 75,000 jobs do a lot to help that. And on top of that, those people will have jobs. That way they can spend more money. And they won't be on unemployment or other welfare systems. Therefore, that'll lower the deficit and increase revenues of that going on. In the past, religious groups have been very, very adamant that they do not want casinos in the state of Texas. They say that it brings illegal gambling and very bad activities to the area, which overall is not true. If you go look around areas like where the casinos are, it's usually just fine. They don't have higher crime rates than other areas of the state, so that's not a big deal. Now, as you can see, the Texas Tribune, they did a poll to see how people feel about gambling in Texas. And as you can see, the majority of people wouldn't like it here. There's only 8% that are against it. And 2% should be stayed the same as it currently is. So there has been a lot more support rallying through the state to get this here in Texas. Now, there's current legislation in office right now that they're working on in the House and the Senate at the state level. Different proposals. Adding full casinos is one option. Just adding slot machines to the horse tracks is another option. The horse track people say that they are losing income due to not having slot machines there. People rather go to Louisiana where they can do the horse racing and do slot machines at the same time. So it's something here that will help them out and also increase revenues and do business. But they make the business revenue and we got tax from that, and that also help out as well in the end. And the other option is to allow Indian casinos. Well, all these options are currently being worked on, but to pass it, since it is against the state constitution to actually have gambling, we have to have a constitutional amendment. For that to happen, it requires a 2/3 vote from each of the houses. And then in the general election, the majority of people have to approve it for it to actually come into fruition. So we're what you can do, you can go to thankyouTexas.com, and there's a thing there you can find out who your representative is, how you can tell them what you want. Because you got the people's voice heard, so people can properly represent it. If it's something that the majority wants, it's something we can make happen. And if you go to the website, you can see all the information that they have, learn a couple more things about it, and do your part to get gambling legal in Texas.